You're listening to Speaking Stellar Girl with Terry Tkachuk, an interview series that inspires women to live their most stellar life. Terry is the co-founder of the Stellar Girl movement, and she is sitting down with women all over the world to hear about the key moments in their lives and how they live boldly, compassionately, and ultimately became a stellar girl.
Welcome to Speaking Stellar Girl. I'm your host, Terry Tkachuk, and I'm thrilled today to have Kelly Hill joining me. Kelly is a social media influencer, photographer, and a UI UX designer in the travel and tech spaces. She has led the creative direction of countless companies and apps featured in Forbes, TechCrunch, National Geographic, and has appeared on Shark Tank. She educates and inspires a community over 250,000 online on how to live their most creative life, work from anywhere, and explore our beautiful world. You lead a stellar girl life, Kelly, and I am so excited to learn more about you. Welcome to Speaking Stellar Girl.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. This is awesome. You're amazing.
Oh, you are darling. And I just wanted to ask you because when I was reading all about you and learning about you, I would love to ask you what a UI and a UX designer is, because it was in the introduction and some of our listeners, most of them may not know what that is. So as that's like at the forefront of what you do, please explain a little bit more about what that is for all of us.
Yes. So UI stands for user interface and UX stands for user experience. So I like to describe it to people. It's really, mostly focused on webs and apps. So anything that has an interface.
Okay.
And it can also expand, iPads or TVs, just anything that's digital. But it's just like if you are an engineer, you have your engineering foundation. In design, you might have a graphic design foundation, and then you further go on to specialize into, like further just being specialized. Okay. Same, just as like doctors, you have your general doctor and you learn all the foundations, and then you go on to specialize something more and specific. So that's what I specialize in UI and UX. A lot of UI or UX designers don't do both because with user experience, this is what makes the experience of a digital product or software an easy and simple experience. It has nothing to do with aesthetics. Okay. And then UI is all about how the look and feel and putting that like branding into it and like, the colors. So like, you think of the interior designer of the home, okay. Whereas the UX can be, more of that structural and, where things are placed in the order they're placed in. Okay. So those are the two sides, and you don't need a design background with UX. So that's why I do both, because it's something that I can do. So it just makes it more well-rounded, and I love it.
Did you go to school for that?
So I got my BFA, Bachelor of Fine Arts, okay. Which generally, if you study like any sort of design program, that's the degree you get. But I actually specialized in studio art. I had all of the graphic foundation classes. I had web design, all of that, but I was self-taught. Like I started doing front-end development when I was 13. And so I already had like a huge foundation in that before college. So I focused on what I didn't have. And then when I moved to New York City, I fell into the tech space because I just had that background. And I did happen to have that like right degree that, companies look for in designers, which is having a BFA. So I tell people, it doesn't matter what your degree is in, especially now, like this was, several years ago, mm-hmm. All that matters is your portfolio. So whatever you want to get into, you can do it. Even if you don't have a degree in it, you just need to make the work and have a portfolio, improve yourself. Like you don't need that degree. You don't, so I don't want people to be discouraged that they can't pursue something new. Correct. Or something different just because they didn't study it, because, I didn't study UI UX. That wasn't even like a specific degree when I was in school. Okay. And now the best thing you can do is, just learn stuff and adapt, and anyone can do it.
And do what you love, actually, because you love what you do.
Yes,
And
I love all creative, and I love photography and social media. There's so many things. It's hard to pick.
I know. Well, it's so funny you mentioned about, education and university and I'm Canadian, so we call it university over there. So my degree is I majored in French, Spanish, Ukrainian, Cree, and yeah, so I majored in languages. And I wanted to work for the government in the protocol department. So like when dignitaries or other political leaders came into the country in Canada, the protocol officer would take them around, show them the capital, etc. Didn't do that at all. So I don't,
Wow.
I mean, I still speak fluent French because I grew up in a bilingual school, but I don't use the other one. So you kind of lose them. But I worked in the music industry for a decade. I had nothing to do with my degree whatsoever. So it's important because, girls these days, it's like, what school are you getting into? Do you get into this school? Did you get into this school? And then people pivot halfway through and decide to do something else. And as long as you do what you love to do and what brings you joy and happiness and you follow your passions, I think that's so important.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I totally agree with that.
So let's talk about your love for travel, because you talk all about working remotely. Your Instagram is spectacular. If you guys haven't checked it out, it's Kelly with 2 Y's Hill. And she has got like the most beautiful aesthetic, and it's spectacular, but it's also because you get to travel to all these beautiful, like photographical places and all these magical places you get to visit. So where have you been lately? I mean, you're at home now. Home.
Yes. Well, so I was out of the country for 15 months, almost 16 months. So I've been home for the last 2 months visiting family. After this last year with the pandemic, especially important time now that I can see family. Yes. So it was, amazing though. I've never actually been gone consecutively out of the country for that long. Okay. And that is related to the pandemic,
you were stuck in South Korea? Was it South Korea?
Yes. So we had moved to South Korea for the year because we were just ready to try something new, and we wanted to explore more of Asia, more places. I've been to a handful of different countries in Asia, but we just wanted to explore more. And my husband and I had never actually lived abroad together. And I think living abroad is different than traveling abroad. And so I was like, we had both lived abroad independently of each other. And so we were excited to do something like that. And we were hoping, Korea will be our home base. That's where my husband, he got a job there that got us the visa to be able to be there and have that base for a year. But then of course the world shut down and we couldn't travel around Asia like we were hoping, every few weeks, going to somewhere new. But Korea ended up being absolutely beautiful, and we've made incredible friends, and I'm so grateful for the experience. And I'm very excited to visit again once we are able to.
The culture there is beautiful, and the people.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's honestly a beautiful country, and there's so much to do, and the food is incredible.
Did you get to learn a little bit of their language?
I learned just a little bit of Korean, and it is very hard. My husband is a lot better. He is much better with languages. He speaks several different languages, and he just picks things up really easily. The coolest thing after spending an entire year there, everything that I learned, I almost didn't have to try to learn it though. When you spend long enough in a country that you don't speak the language, you will learn things innately, because you will just have to. And I think that's beautiful. I just learned words because I would just keep seeing them and experiencing them. And, and I for instance, just being able to order stuff at the grocery store, I would learn what to say just because they would say it to me every time I was in there. Right. And I was like, oh, okay, that's what you say then. It's a lot more organic and natural way to learn a language, I think. So it's really, really cool. Yeah. Just being immersed. And, so yeah, that was amazing. And then after Korea, then we were based in Mexico for a few months, and then finally came back to finally visit our family for a few months in the summer.
Well, on the topic of travel, where are you heading out next? Any plans?
Yes. So we are headed to El Salvador in a couple weeks. So we haven't been there in maybe 8 or 9 years. It's been a while, because we've been to every country in Central America except Guatemala. But it's the surf season right now. So it's the good time to go if you surf. To El Salvador. It's the end of the rainy season. So it's also like, the surf season is still great in the summer, but maybe we'll have, more sun time being towards the end of the rainy season, but still having the good surf season. So I'm really excited, and I'm excited to see, just the differences, like from when we were there so long ago. Apologies. I was having
no worries.
So yeah, I'm really excited. Like, it's been a while, and we're just like, my husband, especially, he's very much like ready
itching to go.
Yeah, it's amazing to be home to visit our family in the summertime, but it's not the best time for surfing here. That's the best time is in the fall. So it's, like, just not getting to, we're just ready,
ready to go. Let's go.
For 2 months, we're ready to go somewhere new. So we're really excited, and it should be awesome. Just love being anywhere tropical. And then in the fall, we will go to Europe. Hopefully I've been waiting to book my flights because I'm just waiting to make sure things will still be open as they are right now. Yes. So we have a few spots we will hopefully be going in Europe September or October, just kind of depending on everything.
I can't wait to get to the Amalfi Coast. That is on my.
It was beautiful. Have you been?
I have not been, and it's Capri, not Capri, like everyone
says. That's how you say it in Italian. Capri. Yes. I lived in Italy.
Oh, you did. So well, let's hear about it. I've only been, I've been to Italy. I've been to Florence and Tuscany, but I've never Rome, obviously, but at Venice, but not. Near the Amalfi Coast. So yes, I cannot wait to get there.
It is absolutely beautiful. You have to rent a boat for the day, or do a guided boat tour. I've been a few times, and my first time, was like when I was living there, like 8-10 years ago, something like that. And it's just beautiful. And I was actually watching on someone's Instagram stories, because it's been years since I've been specifically to the Amalfi Coast. I was in Italy just before the pandemic, but it is so gorgeous. I was watching someone's Instagram stories the other day, and they were on a little boat, excursion for the day around the Amalfi Coast. Have to do that. It's absolutely amazing. And they're pulling up to the same exact spot. Like there's all these little beach clubs that you can like pull up to that you get to by boat. And it looked exactly the same as when we were there 8 years ago. Like these 2 restaurants, I was like, oh my gosh, those were the places that like we stopped at, and they literally still look the same. It was so cool, and it's so beautiful. But it's just such a beautiful and quaint area.
I love it. Was that Melissa Wood Health you were watching?
I was following her stories. Wasn't her story that I saw it on. It was Marie and Jake Snow. I saw on Marie Fee and Jake Snow, their account. They were there. I feel like everyone's there right now.
I know. And I shouldn't call her Melissa Wood Health because it's not health. It's Melissa Wood. But I just add that because
I love following her. I do all her workouts. I literally did an hour of her Pilates this morning.
So did you do 2 back-to-back? Because sometimes do they have
she has a 50-something minute one that I did this morning.
Oh, see, I
4 minutes.
I last about like 35, and then I'm like, okay, I'm good. But she's got some great little quick workouts. I love it. She is so amazing.
Yes, I love her workouts. That's like ever since the pandemic, I loved going to the gym and stuff, but with travel, I've always done my own workouts on my own when I'm traveling. Like, I'm not the kind of person that like, just because I'm traveling doesn't mean I'm not working out. Like I always do like at least 10 minutes of something in the morning. Mm-hmm. But since the pandemic now, I like haven't even been back to a gym in over a year. And I've cause I started doing her workouts several years ago because I started following her when I lived in New York City.
Okay.
And So I love her workouts, and like they're so great for being on the go. And I
know.
do them
Speaking of empowering and celebrating other women, she does that so well as well. I mean, we all champion her because she's so real and authentic and just love it.
Yes.
So you actually just came back from an injury, and I wanted to just mention this, and because your positive attitude towards the entire process of you not being able to do what you love with surfing. You weren't able to go into the water for, was it like at least a month or 2 weeks?
Over a month, I couldn't go in the ocean.
And and you handled it with such grace, and you were so positive, and you did other things to keep moving, and you went for walks and worked on your photography and videography and all. And I just thought that was just an amazing attitude to have. You had such a stellar girl mindset through the whole thing. Are you?
Oh, okay? I appreciate that. I didn't realize that
you did.
That was noticed.
It was totally noticed.
Oh, I appreciate that.
So I tried. You okay?
Yes, I'm okay now.
Okay.
It was awful. I do not wish it upon anyone else. I literally could not walk for 2.5 weeks. Like literally I had to crawl to go from the couch to my bed to the bathroom. And that was all I could do. There was a few times granted I could use like crutches, but it's also like when you're just going somewhere close in the house, it's kind of like stupid. But so I literally could not do anything like physical at all for like over 2 weeks. And I never wish this upon something, and it can, those things can get really serious. And I'm very grateful that, I caught it as early as I did.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was just like an injury from running, when it turned out to be a serious skin infection that like got worse. And thankfully, because I'm so in tune with my body, I just always notice these things. I'm a huge documenter, as you know, I document everything. And so I document even my body all the time to keep it like from a health standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
I've been seeing dermatologists since I was 18. I take pictures of my skin regularly. So I was like documenting this on my foot and seeing the progress for a few days. I'm like, I need to go to the doctor now. So I'm like very grateful. I just, encourage anyone to don't ignore things, when you feel off, and because it can be something serious. It's always better to have that peace of mind. But yeah, I definitely was just like, okay, maybe I'm supposed to be focusing on a few other things right now. And so I just focused on those and, what I could do. And maybe I just need a break because I've been like crazy doing a lot of things. So I just kind of take it as this is a time, maybe I need to be still for this and, let my body heal. And just, I always try, I think, when you're going through something tough, you need to have something else positive to focus on to like get you through it.
That's fantastic. I love that.
And that pulls you out.
I absolutely love that. So let's talk. Okay, so we've talked about travel, and we've talked about being like listening to your body, working out, which is all, we talk about that at Stellar Girl as a lifestyle, and you have such a positive attitude, and you shine bright every day. But what about your style? Because I would love to chat about that, because everyone has their own style. I dress for my mood and destination. I'm a total chameleon. Like one day I'll be wearing something like a vintage t-shirt and bell bottoms, and then the other day I'll not choose that and wear a suit. But I just like your style must be so, I don't know why I say limited, because how do you pack for all these trips? I mean, you look darling in all your photos. You're always at a beach fun destination. So what's your go-to, or what's your, I think you're like kind of boho chic and super fun. How do you pack for all these trips? Like my luggage, I'll go away for the weekend and my luggage will be like 50 pounds. And I'm like, no, I don't know how people do carry on. So tell me about your
carry on only girl.
Yeah. Are you really?
I am.
You can go away and just for months and just pack it on?
Yeah.
How? Please.
I will spill all the secrets. Okay.
Please tell me.
Packing. First, before we dive into the style and the clothes, you're packing. Use packing cubes, roll your clothes. I'm sure you probably already do this, but if you roll your clothes, you can pack so much more. I've actually really impressed my friends when they see how much I have in my suitcase and it's a carry-on. They're like, wow, I did not realize you had all these outfits. So rolling your clothes is a huge one, and using packing cubes to keep it all organized. And you can fit so much more when it's in a packing cube, because think of it, it like condenses down a little bit. So those are the big things. Roll packing cubes, bam, you're going to pack so much more in your suitcase. And then the other thing is I try to buy like lighter weight fabrics, because I can fit so much. And it works well when I'm going to warmer destinations.
Yeah,
it's
like try to tell that to a skier who's going to Aspen for the weekend.
Yeah, I think that's one of my few recent, like in the last few years, you know, when I was snowboarding in Colorado, because I needed my board bag, I needed my equipment bag, you know, with my helmet and my boots and all of that. And then I needed all my gear, and then I still needed cute clothes to go out into town at night. So, you know, that I did have to check things. But I also, because I do have to say, when we travel, like with surfboard bags, I sneak some things into the surfboard bag too. So I do cheat a little bit there. But so there's the packing thing. But as far as style, so I used to be like 10 years ago, I literally had so many clothes out my ears. And then when moving into a tiny New York 1-bedroom apartment, you know, it was just hard for me to have everything. We had just been married, and we literally had our entire life in 600 square feet. And I was like, I need to, like, you know, get rid of a few things. And, you know, I felt like I really was introduced to refining my style when I lived in New York City. And I feel like I've still evolved from then, because I've become a lot lighter. I was very much wearing black a lot, very neutral. And so now I actually color theme. So I'll just go through phases where, like, okay, I really just feel like in a white and neutral mood. And so everything that I'm purchasing or wearing is like that color scheme. And I like all my clothes to go together, like match and stuff, so that I can mix and match and have 5 items. And this helps me with travel. If I have 5 items, but I get 10 outfits, because they're all in a color theme. Or I might do a pink theme and like do pinks, or I might do like a fall theme. Like I just have oranges and neutrals, and some like auburn colors. So I really theme what I'm wearing. And ever since I watched this documentary on minimalism, obviously I will never be there, but it really inspired me to be a lot more conscious about the clothes that I have in my closet. And I try to have every like item that I own that's personal. So basically all my clothes, that, and like toiletries and like all of that fit in like one giant suitcase. And like a carry-on. So like a suitcase, like travel set, including shoes and stuff. So I'm just very, very particular. And what I do is I either buy things that I'm going to wear for a long time, or I'm constantly like either buying, like then like selling them secondhand, you know, and just like trying to keep in that like sustainable recycle, you know, like selling it versus like not throwing it away, or then looking at, you know, secondhand. So, and just being really mindful about like what I'm purchasing and that I'm going to wear it a lot. So I just like, you know, usually I feel like, cause I'm at the beach a lot, like very loose fabrics, very light fabrics. I love linens, and just very like flowy, and like, you know, I just have like some staple items that I'm wearing all the time. Some jean shorts, a great jean jacket. Like those are like 2 things I'm literally always wearing, like a good like white skirt, a good white dress, a good black dress, just some like go-to items that I can dress up or dress down. So I really focus on those staples and like lighter fabrics, and, you know, something flowy, usually something that fits at the beach. So I will find if I have like a fancy event that I generally will have to go shopping, which I don't mind.
Well, you've inspired me to go clean up my closet now, because I've got too much. I think I feel like I need to just, it does. It's like this big cleansing, you know, like you don't need that many, and to sell everything. I mean, what I do is I have a closet party with my girlfriends.
Oh, that's fun.
I will just like get like, and not, I mean, they can wear it. It's not like I never give anything away that's not in good shape. And I put everything on rolling racks, and they come and they try it on. And if it fits them, great, take it. Like maybe someone else will get another couple years out of it. Then, you know, So that's always
Yeah,
really
I love that approach. To me, the more stuff that I have, the more stress I've noticed it brings me in my life. And I've been such in the last few years, a mindset of how can I reduce my stress? My family history has a lot of, just health problems. And I know that stress has so much to do with our health. And we don't realize how much it really impacts us. And because I can lean to being such a workaholic, I've been very conscious of, how can I like better shape my lifestyle to reduce the amount of stress. So living at the beach, that's a big thing, that automatically reduces my stress, or being by bodies of water. And I learned that about myself in New York. And so okay, but being able to visit them frequently. How can I visit them frequently? What do I need to, how I can work remotely so I can have more flexibility in my schedule, so I can take, or, then working for myself, so I can do an hour of yoga in the morning and not feel stressed about it, and spend some time with meditation. So I'm really focused on these things. And a lot of that is impacted by my wardrobe. So having a simpler wardrobe, things that I love, that make me happy, that don't stress me out, that fit great, that's what I go for, because it reduces my stress.
Yeah, everyone needs a little less stress in their lives, that's for sure, because everyone wears this badge of honor. Yeah, well, I read somewhere, I think very recently, someone says, oh yeah, we all wear this badge of honor. Oh my God, I'm a workaholic. I'm so busy. I'm doing this. And we do that in the United States a lot. I find more so than in other countries where they take vacations, where they take holidays. And here, all we do is just feel like we work. And then we don't actually enjoy ourselves. And I'm guilty of that. I need to do definitely a better job at doing all of that. I wanted to ask you about Shark Tank.
Oh, sure.
You mentioned Shark Tank. So
yes.
So were promoting like a app that you were doing?
Tell you. So a startup that I was an earlier employee of, that I had worked for in New York. They were on Shark Tank, and then I joined the team right after they had been on Shark Tank. And so I really helped them grow in design, and was, helping eventually lead and develop their app, and just everything on the creative side, packaging, just everything, really grew the design team. So after I'd been there a while, then Robert Herjavec had been the shark investor when they were on the show. And then they did a recap interview TV segment. And so they came to our office in New York, and I was, in the episode where they highlight, where they are now. And I met Robert, and we, I got to talk to him and stuff, and take pictures with him. It was funny. We were just took selfies together. But it was cool. He was exactly how he is on TV. It's actually very cool when you see people in person that are on TV. It's just I feel on Instagram, when you see people that you watch on a screen all day, and then they're the same person. It's really, really awesome.
Yes. Versus being the total opposite, because the more authentic and true you are in your social media, the better response you're going to get from the people that follow you. And speaking of being a social media influencer, that's what you are all about as well, including all your other plethora of amazing talents that you have.
Thank you.
So, do you work specifically with brands, and are you very careful with which ones that you promote and work with? Obviously lots of people I see, not you, but, promote things, and they just kind of it's one story and they're done. They're, that's not an authentic creation. So the brands that you've been, worked for in the past, and you love them? You love what they, So let's talk about, so how do you pick all that?
So, I just think it has to be, if it's not oh my gosh, yes, then it's a no.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, I want to work with this brand, then it should be a no. So that's always been my approach. And I also this is why I have held on to my initial career so long. One, because I love it, but two, because I've been all about building a brand where I can make the choices to put my brand first, and then now put my audience first. So I'm very particular with who I work with and not just any email that comes in, because I want to make sure it aligns. And if I think my audience will enjoy it or receive value from it. And I just, that to me, that's the most important thing, because at the end of the day, when you are a brand too, and you have a brand, like that's your power, and you don't want to jeopardize that. And it's also just a waste of time if it doesn't click. If you're doing something that doesn't align, it's also just a waste of everybody's time. You're wasting someone's resources that could be better spent. And I'll be honest, if I've had people approach me and I'm like, I just don't think my audience would, like they might not like it. I might like it. Or little things like I've said no to certain brands that have approached me. For instance, like I, really didn't think I should, so Bojangles had approached me for something. And so I've actually been a Bojangles customer for years,
okay,
but it's not like a part of my brand. And I understand the difference. Like I went to Bojangles every week in college, right? And my husband loves Bojangles. So that's my husband's brand. It's not my brand. And I know it doesn't align. So it's like, I don't know that I should work on that campaign. I don't think that'd be a good fit. Like, it doesn't make sense. Even though I do personally will eat Bojangles once in a while. It's just because that's the difference with branding too. Mm-hmm. Just because you do all these things doesn't mean it's a part of your brand. Like, it's not everything. Like, you have to kind of zone in on the specific things to focus on and just really stick to that. And then you don't have to have these brands that don't align approaching you, because the people who align with you will just be attracted to you. Mm-hmm. And so if you focus on that, you will be attracting those, oh my gosh, yes, I want to work with you brands.
Well, your energy is infectious, and I'm so excited that Stellar Girl gets to be working with you.
Yes.
I'm thrilled. Absolutely thrilled. So because at Stellar Girl, we talk about how we support each other and champion other women and celebrate other women. I ask every guest this question, and it'll be, Kelly, what can we better do to champion, support, and celebrate women?
I think it's in our daily life. It's the little moments. It's, standing up for someone in just that no one else is around, or just making someone's day a little bit brighter. And it's a lot more about focusing on them and not yourself. So whenever you meet another, it's like little things like, oh, you just met a woman in the line at the grocery store, asking about them and encouraging them. It's just those little bits of encouragement with each other every single day that's going to add up. It doesn't have to be this huge, big thing. And that's where you get that ripple effect.
Yes. Absolutely. I love how we all champion each other. Pardon me?
Leading by example, yes. People will then follow suit.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining Stellar Girl today. I adore your energy and your smile. And I just think what you've done and where you live and how have you created this life for yourself that you live out with such passion and joy, with such a Stellar Girl mindset. And thank you for joining us today and following on our mission.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored to be a part of the Stellar Girl community. It is really such a privilege to, even be considered. So I really have loved talking with you. I feel like we could have just literally talked for hours, things travel and, style, all of it.
We'll need to do a part 2.
Yes, for sure. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. And we'll see you on the other side.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that bell icon to be notified of new episodes. To learn more about the Stellar Girl movement, please visit us at stellargirl.com.